Good morning. We're back. We're back again. Alrighty. Here we go. First and foremost, it was very hard to wake up this morning. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, 1 second. Okay. Had to go turn the coffee camera on. Let's see. So we got Meld Studio up. We got YouTube started. We got the coffee cam. We got water, coffee. Let the streaming commence. Let's go ahead and set up our windows again, like we do. All right, where did we pick up at? So we're in to-dos, or I guess where did we stop at? So we need to migrate drawing to Raylib window. We need to implement the remaining instructions, and we need to handle keyboard inputs. So let's go ahead and start the Raylib side of this. So I did go ahead and get Raylib installed, which was kind of an adventure in and of itself, honestly. Apparently the compiler I'm using isn't maybe the best option, I guess, maybe when you're talking about using Raylib. But I finally got it working. So if we run, let's see, if we run window Hey, what's up, Aeronaut? How are you? Sup with you is we basically want to translate. Um, we basically want to translate, I guess, what we have running in our program, which would be if we do main.exe. I guess run is what we're using. Oh, whoops. Run PS1. There we go. CHIP-8. Just got back from a vacation in Madrid, getting ready to program. Nice, dude. Let's go. You're living the dream. Jet off to Madrid, have a good time, come back home, sit down at the setup. Yeah, I like it. I like it. All right, so we just need to translate the terminal output to a display window in Raylib, which sounds like a trivial thing, but I've never used Raylib before, so we'll see how this goes. Don't really know where to start. Okay, maybe the best thing to do would be to refactor our main. Let's add that to the dittos. Let's actually refactor main. Okay. The point with this refactor is just basically to clean it up. So we have our enums, we have our exit codes. This is a print line function that we use. Long get time function, draw. That will need to change or at least go away. We're handling the SIGINT stuff. I'm going to make a new function called setup graceful exit. I honestly don't know if this is necessary anymore now that we're going to Raylib. Raylib might handle all this for us. Setup graceful exit like that. Okay. And the next thing we do is we validate input. So let's just add a function for validate arguments. And I'm just going to see, this takes only one thing, which is int argc. Let's see, as valid. Yeah, that might not be make sense for one. That might not make sense to print out. Or maybe load file. Load file is load file. Now you are going to be, you're going to need the chip. You're going to need a few different things, right? You're going to need chip T pointer, which is our chip. You're going to need the file path, which is a char star file path. What else? I think that's it. Let's go ahead and extract this. So actually you can come up to the beginning. And we will So I guess who should be responsible for creating the memory, allocating the memory? Because technically we want to be able to hold on to the file pointer reference, right? Hey, what's up, Lazarus? Good to see you. CHIP-8 sounds like a fun hobby project. Yeah, I definitely think it is. A lot of people do it, apparently, based on all the Google searching and research I did. This is very common. It's been fun. It's definitely a different domain for me, though, for sure. How's the emulator coming along? It's coming along, I think, good. Yeah, let's see. I don't think I've broken it. I can actually show you it working. This is us printing an IB8 logo, IBM logo. That's how far we've gotten. So what we're trying to do this morning is we're just trying to clean up our main function a little bit. And we're going to try to move from drawing that in the terminal to Raylib. Having it broken. Yeah, like, yeah, it's always a good sign. I have not broken it. I've done my best to avoid breaking such things. Well, yeah, it's good. It's good. Okay, let's call this load ROM. Yeah, I'm just thinking how I want to approach the procedure here, the order of events. So I think this needs to come up here. I think the check, I guess, for this needs to move up as well. But the problem is here that we don't have the file pointer, so we can't do that operation, which I guess is okay. Then let's go ahead and grab the file, which would be, so this is where we actually put the file into memory, right? Yes, so let's go ahead and extract all of this. I think. I don't know. I'm kind of afraid to break everything. It took so long to get it working. Yeah, Yeah, let's just go ahead and extract all this. Let's put this into our load ROM function. Windows 12 doesn't look that great with all the AI integrated. What? Windows 12? I haven't heard about this. I have not I haven't considered I have not considered switching to Linux full time. Obviously I use Linux probably I would say every day, if not every other day on a regular basis. But what is this about Windows 12? This is news to me. Windows 12. Man, I thought they were trying to take things out of. I thought they just didn't they just add like a bunch of new search functionality or improved a bunch of search functionality, and I think they added a bunch of ways you can configure the start menu search. So I thought they were trying to make Windows better, not worse. Microsoft confirms it's not launching Windows 12 as it teases a big announcement. Maybe this is May 31st. So this is like 2 months ago. It's gonna come out this year, really? Huh? Yeah, so I'm okay on Windows as long as they don't try to shove AI onto me at every corner, you know? Like I'm okay with working on Windows. I guess it's mainly rumors, but they're going to integrate Copilot into everything. Well, then maybe that will be what finally pushes me off. I mean, it's not that I dislike Copilot necessarily, but you know, I don't necessarily want things forced upon me, you know? I mean, according to everyone, it's bloated. Everybody tells me Windows is bloated and I should be using Linux, but I like being able just to have one machine. You know, I can do everything on one machine. And I guess there's always the potential if I switch to Linux, I can just run like a Windows VM on Linux, but I think it's just a matter of, for me, it's a matter of inconvenience, right? To switch everything, migrate everything. Anyway, let's wait till Windows 12, I suppose. Well, I guess we'll see. Yeah, I mean, if you come back around the stream around that time, you'll more than likely find out for sure. Just removing some of the print stuff. I don't think we should be doing this inside here. This is like initializing the chip and stuff. I don't think that should be happening inside here, so we probably will pull that out. All right, let's replace the call here to let's be int load ROM result equals load ROM. We pass in the chip and we pass in arg sv at 1. I think that looks right. So let's just make sure we didn't break anything. So let's try to just... We broke stuff. Okay. File path redeclared as part of... Okay. So this we do not need. Oh, we're returning int. And this has the signature void. Switch that. There we go. We're back. We're back. Okay. So now we're good there. So let's go ahead and make another function. We'll call this init init chip. Takes a CHIP-8 T pointer, call it chip. Let's stick all this stuff here. And then down here, after we successfully load the ROM, we'll call init chip, pass in the chip. And actually we can do this up here. After the chip is allocated, we'll just init the chip. Okay, another quick test, just make sure it's still working. Return type defaults to int. Oh. There we go. So we validated the arguments, load the ROM, start the loop. Okay, this is a lot of this needs to be refactored out here. I do want, because I don't, the bitwise operation here is kind of messy, so I am going to add a comment, but I'm not going to have so many comments. So let's say read 2 bytes at a time from memory. Let's explain the bitwise operation. So reading first byte, shifting first byte, shifting left 1 byte, ORing. I don't even know if that is what ORing second byte. Okay. Let's go down here. Let's see, extracting, parsing, what is it? I'm going to call it extracting the lowest 12 bits of the instruction. This is extracting the lowest 4 bits of the instruction. Okay. Now we have all this, so we don't need the print statements anymore. Let's get rid of the print statement. Those are unnecessary clutter. Skipping. I don't remember, what was I supposed to do on this if can't remember what this instruction was. This instruction was this was if Vx equals KK, the interpreter compares register X to KK, and if they are equal, increments the counter. So we really don't even need this else statement. So else statement's not needed. So I think this would be a good function to extract as well, to refactor to a separate function. There's a lot going on here. The instruction itself is called, let me see, the instruction itself is called draw, I guess, or display. Draw sprite. Okay. Let's see, flatten 2D coordinates to index. This is about extracting individual bits from byte in memory. Yeah. Okay. This is collision. This is what that is. We'll just leave that there. I don't think that needs explanation. Then we call draw. So this is where we paint it to the screen. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this to a separate function called draw sprite, maybe. So let's call this draw sprite. I'm not a big fan of the style of my code right now, because it's very, I think it's very C-like, and that's very procedural, but I don't care for the fact that I'm calling functions that basically take a variable in and they mutate it, right? And then the program continues on. There's really no, based on the expression on this line, there's not a really good way to know what exactly happens to chip, or whether chip changes. Is chip a different chip when it comes, you know what I mean? But I think that's kind of the nature of this style of code in a lot of ways. So let's go ahead and pull this out to that new function that we have. Put that here. I don't have any. I always think I have an auto formatter. Let's see, 3. Gotta do one more. Oh no, that's not right. Okay, so what exists in this function that we don't have? So we definitely need a pointer to the chip. So we need a CHIP-8 pointer chip. That's a constant. We need in, which is in is what? In is a uint 16. Okay, what else? Let's see, chip. I think that might be it. Okay, and then we'll come down here and draw. Hey, what's up, Nikhil? Good to see you. How are you doing? Thank you for stopping by the stream. Appreciate you. We're doing a little bit of refactoring, a little bit of cleanup after our fever dream of progress yesterday morning. We're gonna do draw sprite, pass in the chip, pass in. Hey, what's up, Kale? How are you? Nice to see you, man. How was your Friday? Damn, you already had your Friday. So you're on Friday night. It's the weekend for you, yeah? That's exciting. All right, let's see if this actually works. Oh, the one thing I didn't do is I have to say if load ROM results does not equal 0, return load ROM result. By the way, you can use Control D and Control U to move up and down. Dude, you're so right, and I need to be better about using those. I'm trying to get better about using. Somebody the other day taught me about Control O and Control I, and I've been trying to be better about using those to jump back and forth between places in code. I've developed very bad, I think, code navigation habits in NeoVim, and I'm gonna have to break myself of them. I need to level up. Thank you very much, though, for the encouragement. Pull this to. This is our draw sprite. Let's go ahead and make sure it still works. It does not still work. Each we need X and Y. Okay, so those can be passed in as well. So we're working with X and Y. How about me? Yeah, my Thursday was good. Pretty uneventful. My weeks are usually pretty normal. I mean, work is usually calm. It's summertime, so we don't have any school stuff going on. My wife doesn't work during the summer because she just works at the school when the boys are in school. So she's just home and hanging out with the boys, and the boys chill and play video games and run around and be kids. And I just sit in the basement and do work, It's a nice life, It's a simple life. We don't, not a lot of drama. Let's see. I did spend quite a bit of time yesterday working on a C# application, which was fun. Little 2E. Yeah, that's about it. Not much else to write home about. And now we're back here. Yes, 2E. 2E. Yeah, I think I have shown it to you guys before. It's basically a way to manage. It's basically like a Twitch. It's basically, for me, it functions as two things. It's a way to manage chat for your streams from the terminal, but you can also just use it as like your regular old Twitch chat client or YouTube chat client. Like I use it all the time during the day when I'm hanging out in people's streams to like merge people's chats together so I can respond in either place. But it's a nice little app. Like it automatically loads mine, and then you can manually add people's chat to it. Like I was watching the Burnt Peanut last night. There's mine. I don't see my YouTube one. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there. So this has been fun to build slowly over time. I added persistence to it now, so the chat messages actually stick around after you, like if you close the application, you open it back up, the messages you received. Yeah, I think I've shown this to you guys before, but I've been working on it on and off over the last few months, you know, just trying to polish it and make it better. But I like it. I enjoy using it a lot. It's kind of scratching one of my itches. I also, the other thing I did was yesterday was I made the account setup a little better. So now when you go to add an account, we use a selection list. We were using like, I had some weird UI stuff going on in here, but now if you go into YouTube, you can obviously see the status of your connection, and you can disconnect and reconnect, which is nice. So it's a little bit easier to manage your accounts that you have set up. What else did I add? Oh, I added an onboarding. I don't know how to show you this. I guess the way I can show it, I can do this. There's always this problem with applications that you build that require configuration, especially for like people who are maybe not real technical, but you need to be able to basically have them set up the app settings for the app, right? And it's kind of annoying to tell somebody like, hey, create an app settings.json file, populate it with this, you know what I mean? So what I did was let me see if I can move this to app settings dot back. So if you download the application and you start it up, it'll actually recognize that you haven't configured the application, and it'll do like kind of like an onboarding workflow, but doing it from the terminal, a little bit easier to interact with, a little bit less of a headache to maintain for me. And so you can kind of step through the wizard, and it'll take you through like, here's what you need to, you're going to use a different redirect port, or you just want to use the default one. It'll take you through setting up your Twitch credentials, entering your client ID, client secrets, all that stuff. So I added that yesterday. But that's the kind of stuff that I've been working on in my free time off stream that I just haven't really been very quick to share on stream, because AI has kind of ruined the fun of it. Hey, what's up, Maddie? Long time no see. How are you? Yes, I use a C# library. I'll give a shout out to the C# library I'm using. It is called Termina. I actually had to fix a bug in it, or what I thought was a bug. I opened a PR. We'll see if it's an actual bug, but it's called Termina. It is a very cool 2E framework. Now, the reason why I chose this 2E framework in C# is because AOT. So you can actually, the application I'm building is actually AOT native, which means it has really fast startup. It's really speedy. It doesn't rely on all the reflection APIs that are in your standard JSON serialization stuff in .NET, which does make it a little bit more of a pain for you to develop as a developer to build an AOT compatible application, but it makes your application feel way faster and way more responsive, starts up much quicker because you're not doing any of the jitting. But this is the library I'm using, Termina. They basically follow this MVVM architecture. So the way you model everything is you have basically a view model that inherits from a base class, and then you define a page, right? So this is going to be like a screen of your 2E, right? So I have like a chat page and a streams page, and the page defines the layout, and they have this kind of Fluent Builder API syntax here that is basically how you compose the view, which I'm still kind of on the fence if I like this. I think I would much rather just have like JSX, or maybe like a Blazor template would be kind of cool. I don't know if I'm in love with this. This is very similar to how the iced RS library has you build GUIs in Rust. Don't know if I'm super bought into it, but and then what you do is you just wire them together. So the terminal library provides a method that hangs off of the service collection in the host, and you go in there and you register your routes, right? So it has a very nice routing system as well. So like Bubble Tea kind of uses a similar. It's a little similar, only that they're sort of you have to basically build this loop, right, and react to the loop. And this allows you to define your TUI much more in like your classic kind of web application routing style, where you're basically saying this particular path goes to this particular page with this particular model. And you can have nested routes and routes with dynamic parameters and all kinds of cool stuff. Conditional routing. But this is the library I'm using. It's a good library. Let me put it in the chat in case anybody ever wants to build a TUI for themselves in C#. There's a few different. I think there's there's two existing TUI frameworks in C#. They're both kind of older. I think one is called, oh shit, now they escape me. The names of them escape me, but they're a little older. They have an older look and feel to the UI when they render, and they're not AOT. They're not AOT native. So let's see. Here is the Termina library. Go build some C# TUIs. C# I gotta check out, dude. I love C#. Every time I take a vacation from it, you know, like I've been spending a lot of time writing Python because of boot.dev, and now we're doing C and stuff. And I've been spending a lot of time writing Rust because I've been building a little desktop utility app. And every time I come back to it, I'm just like, yeah, this still. I mean, I still appreciate all these other languages, and I have a ton of fun writing them, but I still come back to C# and feel the most at home, which is nice. It's nice to have a place like that, right? Everyone should have a place like that. Okay, what are we doing? You should take a look at OpenTUI. Supports JSX. Oh, not so. I have heard of OpenTUI. Actually, that's the stuff that powers OpenCode, right? And don't they have bindings for several different languages? I thought they even had bindings for like Vue, or am I making that up? Solid, I guess maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I like this approach much better to authoring the views of the TUI. However, I'm sure it's probably not trivial to do something that takes JSX and converts it to what should go underneath what you need to actually run in the terminal. The problem with this is then you don't get to write C# though, you know. But I should build something with this. You're 100% right. I mean, it's pretty wild. I mean, I gotta say, I looked at this once before on stream. It's pretty wild that this works. This little snippet of code. Because you look at the snippet of code and you think, okay, you're building a web app or something. You know, it's pretty slick that this translates into a an actual functioning TUI. It's also nice that they provide a lot of these components, right? Like the markdown component, that's a great component to have. Everybody wants to render markdown now in the terminal. This might actually be one of the better things that has come out. There's a few things that have come out of AI summer that I think are going to be very positive. One I think is work trees. People embracing work trees in their Git flow or their Git workflows. I think is wonderful. Uh, the TUI having sort of a renaissance, also wonderful, right? Like the sheer fact that people wanted to do coding agents in the terminal has led to all these really great TUI applications. That's actually why Termina exists too, because the guy who created Termina is building agent that runs in the terminal. So that's it's kind of wonderful, honestly. For everything AI has taken from us, that's the positives. Hey, Maddie, what libs are you using for the Rust app? You were probably here when I was building the iced application, which ended up being a little notepad editor. But this time around, I decided to build something with Tari, which is sort of, I guess, like the Electron of the Rust world. And this has been way more fun to work with because the front end, right, is a web technology that I feel very comfortable in, and the iteration loop of designing that front end is so much better when you don't have to start and stop the application 100 times just to make your changes. So I've actually enjoyed this probably way more. Granted, I've only used each library or framework, whatever you want to call it. I've only used each of them one time. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this. Agentic platforms for compliance is good. Having an agent that can go through all your legislation, point you to acts if it worked for Kim K. Yeah. How do I feel about this? I was talking to another streamer yesterday. He works in the security space, and he was telling me about how he's built a pretty awesome SOC, and a lot of the monitoring he does is facilitated through Claude Code because it has access to all their different through tool calling. It has access to all the different context of their monitoring tools and systems and stuff. And I kind of your mention of being able to like have it review legislation and point you to different information and relevant findings and whatnot. I'm conflicted because on one hand I'm like, okay, that's awesome because that's the kind of the tedious, boring work that like we probably all never want to do. But then there's also a part of me that just is like, in some ways it's another example of like not reading the code in some way or other, right? It's I don't want to live in a world where we're all just kind of like taking the outputs of AI and handing them to each other. And because the outputs do look plausible, none of us really question or inspect them very much. And we get into this world where basically there's this constant drift in the information because we're just kind of like running it through AI, That's the kind of stuff that I have a little bit of like. You have like legislators use AI to draft the legislation, and then businesses use AI to figure out if they're compliant with their legislation. You know what I mean? And then auditors using AI to audit companies to see if they're, and it is, at what point does somebody stop to look at the, what's the forcing function for someone to actually stop and look at the output instead of just kind of like, looks good to me, and passing it on to the next guy. But I mean, that honestly we looked at a PR yesterday, right, on the Bun repo where it was just AI talking to AI in comments. So maybe that's the wave. I don't know. Yeah, I trust you, Kale. Like I'm definitely not saying that, or I'm definitely not saying like there's any shortcomings in your workflow, but just more like on the larger scale, or not. On the other hand, it could give you an edge if you do read the code, though. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that will probably be kind of like what Kale said, where he's somebody who actually cares because he's responsible, and that will hopefully set you apart from people that just rubber stamp it, that just basically delegate everything. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna take a little bit before that becomes a differentiator, but I think clients, customers, and managers and leaders will eventually get to the point where they can sort of tell when they ask somebody for something or ask somebody to produce some sort of work product, and all that person does is turn around and ask Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini and then hand that output back. I think we're going to get good at detecting when somebody is just phoning it in versus somebody who's still actually engaged with the work, right? I think there's a way to differentiate that in some sense. I'd probably take some time for us to build pattern recognition around it, but like if I had to guess now, a lot of freelancers are like that. I would guess a lot of freelancers are probably increasing their output and the amount of work they can do simply by just, oh sure, I got a new gig. Let me see what ChatGPT thinks we should do, right? It happened today to some guy on my team, couldn't work out reverse interest and popped it into Claude. I rolled my eyes. I think, I think, man, it's funny though, but I think one, to me, that's an example of like, I don't want to shit on that guy too much, but like, there's definitely, we all do it, right? It's a context thing. How quickly do you need the results? Are you on a deadline? How crunched are you? How much time do you want to spend on this? How many, like, right? It's all those things. You're always making a decision. But right, that's the stuff that scares me a little bit, is when I see more and more people who say stuff like, "Oh, I can't design anything without talking to Claude first," or "Oh, I can't solve a problem without first asking Chat GPT what it thinks," or "I can't write an email," or "I can't." Whenever it becomes this compulsory type of behavior where it almost feels like you have an inability to function without it, that's when I sort of scratch my head and think, I don't know, there may be something not quite good going on here. Like there may be some addictive behavior or some sort of, like, our primitive caveman brains may not be may not be evolved well enough to maybe navigate this in a healthy way. Only time will tell, though, right? Because we're running the experiment live in production, so only time will tell us if the results are good or not. Seems like there's so many slop jobs as well, through though, even without AI. For example, Xbox that fired half of its personnel with 14 management layers. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I don't know how you get to 14 management layers, but that is pretty crazy. I mean, there's always, though, the thing is, if you've never worked in a big company, it's very, the first time you do, it's very eye-opening because you realize big companies, like, there's just so much room to hide out. They're so big, they're so sprawling, there's so much going on that there's tons and tons of room for people who are very just like sit back, sit back and chill. They're rest investors from Silicon Valley. And I'm not even critical of that, man. I mean, if a company lets you get away with that, that's the company's problem. I think, like, you need to be a better job managing and holding people accountable. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, exactly. I remember when I first got hired, I was 20, so I would have been 23, and it was, I think, 2016. I got hired on at Ajinomoto as a food scientist, and I remember in that first year of work, every time we'd go over to my parents' house for dinner or whatever, I would just tell my parents, I was like, I don't understand. I thought Everybody in school and college and high school, like growing up, your teachers and professors and stuff tell you like you got to be organized, you got to be on time, you got, all these things that like the working world is not going to tolerate. And here I am every day experiencing firsthand that most of those things are not even table stakes for the vast majority of employees. Like people show up to meetings late, people are unorganized, people don't follow up on their tasks. Like it's the wild west out here. There's just it's just all kind of it's all kind of bullshit what they tell you in school, really. I was able to play guitar while listening to calls. Nice. Nice, but the fact of the matter is, like, I'm not mad at the employees. It's just very eye opening when you realize that if you're just organized and you're on time and you're upright and forestanding in the way you approach your work, that in and of itself sets you apart from like 90% of people, right? Let alone just being good at what you do, right? So there's like there people don't realize, I think, how low the bar probably really is in a lot of cases. I kind of want to move this logic right here. I kind of want to move this into something that returns a struct. Is that crazy? I kind of want to have something called, I don't know, maybe it is crazy. Maybe it's unnecessary at this point. I think that's enough refactoring. Yeah. I think there's still stuff we could do. Oh, actually, I have a bug. I have bugs I need to fix. What's that? 16T. Sorry, I got distracted talking. uint 16T. Why isn't that? uint 16T. Why? Okay. And then we're going to go back down to draw sprite x, y. Gotta be XP endlessly refactoring. Well, it is fun to refactor your code. What is that? What is the warning that I'm getting? It's an unused parameter somewhere. Just comment that out for a sec. Load ROM. It's in the load ROM function. File path. Just, I guess, GCC main. What are those parameters that we have to pass in? Wall. Can't remember. Cat run. GCC main. Out. Wall and dash W extra. Warning, control reaches end of non-void function. Oh. That's because I don't have a default return. Cannot open output file. No such file or directory exists. There we go. Warning's gone. All right, so I do have Raylib working. So now let's see if we can't get the IBM logo rendered into Raylib. So we did our refactor. Now if I do window.exe, I've got a window here. So I know I have Raylib. That was our problem yesterday. We do have Raylib. Thank you, Kale, and thank you, Nikhil. Thank you guys for those arguments. Appreciate that. Struct that manages dynamically allocated memory via calloc. I'm thinking of just not even just having a struct that holds those integers, that represents the instructions. So like where are we? Down here. Like I was thinking of having just a parse instructions that takes in the chip and then does this work and hands back a structure that has all of these variables on it, right? As individual, I guess, fields. I just think that would read better, would read a little cleaner. That's what I was thinking about doing. I ended up not doing it, but maybe we'll come back and do it again. So this is my Raylib program. This is just copy and pasted from the internet, Stack Overflow. So I need to translate this into my main loop in main.c. So I'm not really sure how to do that. I guess some of this goes away, right? So I think that what's on the right is going to take the place of what's on the left here. Because it looks like it handles the target FPS. I'm just gonna have to figure out what the API is to draw my display. Right? So I guess let's start doing stuff. Sorry for bugging, but what are we doing with this project? You're not bugging. Yeah, I mean, I'm streaming, so kind of open the door to people asking me questions, right? So I've been going through boot.dev, which is a online learning program, but has like this gamification aspect to it that I've been really enjoying. And right now we're on a course where we have to build a personal project. So I decided that I was going to implement a CHIP-8 emulator. And a CHIP-8 emulator is basically, let's see if I can copy, paste. A CHIP-8 emulator is basically emulating the way a long ago designed and now obsolete chip processed a specific set of instructions to actually run programs. So what my code does is it takes programs that are represented in a binary file that encode these instructions that tell this chip how to do things, how to perform operations, so you can actually run a program. And so what my program does is it basically reads in the binary file, parses it, understands the instruction set, and then executes that instruction set so that you can take these CHIP-8 programs and actually use them without necessarily having to have the hardware, right, that they were designed to run on, or written to run on. So that's what we're doing. And I'm kind of following this specification and trying to figure out how to write C code. This is like my 5th or 6th day of writing C code. So we're early days. We're having fun. We're having a good time. I need to focus on drinking this coffee. Less than a week, you're doing real well. Well, I appreciate the encouragement. I don't know if I'm doing well, but yeah, I'm stumbling through the how to do this. Okay, so let's try to just move the window. Let's try to move what's on the right to the left. So we'll go ahead and set our target. Oh, we have to include raylib too. Don't want to forget that, otherwise it will not work. So, sorry for my coffee slurping. Apologize. Gonna go for lunch. Catch you later. See you, Maddie. Thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Oh, that's where I had the perfect opportunity to exercise my newfound skills. There we go. Set target, FPS, Mavs, and all that. What am I watching? You are watching a guy struggle through learning how to write C code. Okay, so now we need to init the window. And I guess this is like the title of the window, maybe? Chip. And then this must be the size. So I'm guessing the first one's the width. So we'll do screen width, screen height. Then we'll have a loop while window should close. I actually think ours is going to have two. So it's either while window should close or keep running. Then we want to do all that stuff in there. While navigating, if you want to go back to where you were editing, you can use GI. Oh, GI? Okay, let me try that one. I've been using Control O and Control I, but maybe that's a better one, GI. So you're saying if I go to the top of the file, GI. Oh, that's even better. Oh, that goes to insert mode though. Can I just go without insert mode? I don't want to do insert mode. Huh. GI, go to last insert. Go to file under cursor, previous end of word. I've been learning Python for 2 months, and this is what YouTube recommends me now. That's hilarious. Well, I hope you're enjoying Python. I'm not a big Python guy, but I hope you're having a good time learning programming. You're watching trad code. Yes, you're watching trad coding. This is what it looks like when you code without a clanker. I'm waiting because I think I'm going to learn C in uni anyways, but not Python. Yeah, man, no worries. I'm not saying that you necessarily need to learn C. I've spent the last 6 years and I've never touched it. So I've written a lot of code in 6 years, and this is the first time I've ever had a reason to do anything with it. So, you know, to each his own, right? Find the tool chain and the tech stack that you like and you enjoy, and fuck all the haters. What? A trad? I mean Chad? Or I mean traditional? my my wife doesn't really like the term trad wife, so I think she's kind of offended by the trad coding connotations, but I find it just so hilarious. You can use marks if you want to jump at a specific line. So I guess Nikhil, so I'll kind of explain to you my biggest navigation pain point, and you can kind of see if there's a way that you think I can improve a little bit. So what we talked about the other day when the person taught me about Control O, Control I is one thing that I find myself doing is like I'll go up here to the very top, and now I want to get back down to CHIP-8, right? That struct definition. And what I find myself doing is obviously spamming the J and K keys. And what I really want is I want some way to just hop between that location, right? But it's difficult. The one thing I struggle with is remembering either what line I came from or remembering to, before I navigate away, right? So is there any way in NeoVim to make it less... That's the way it is. To make it easier on me. So I don't have to remember to do stuff. I can just go where I want to go and be able to get back to where I left, right? So like if I go to the top but I forgot to set a mark, you know what I mean? That's the kind of workflow that I'm trying to figure out how to address. And maybe the answer is no, Steven. You just need to get better at remembering to like set a mark and do what you're supposed to do. That's a totally fine answer. I'm just curious for people who have used it a lot. NeoVim Flash, you can use this plugin. Okay, I've never heard of it. What about using line numbers? So that's the thing I never remember, right? So like, for example, let's say I was down here on the print line function. So I'm using relative numbers. So I'm on line 47 according to my relative numbers. Now I jump up to the very top of the file, right? So let's say I go up to the very top. Now, what piece of information do I need to remember to use to go back to 47? Now, this is relatively easy because I'm at the top, right? So I can probably do 47. Oh, great, I'm there, right? But what happens if I go the other way, right? Like, what happens I go to the bottom of the file? How do I go from 279 to 47? Well, now I have to do the math. I'm on line 2. You know what I mean? Like, that's the part that I struggle with, I guess. I mean, I guess I don't really have to do the math. I mean, 47 is 47. But I guess it's the remembering of the line number. It's the mental clocking of like, what line number am I on? You know, and then remembering that, right? But then what if you change the file? Right now it's not the right line number. So it's just this is and I just want to be clear, this is not a NeoVim problem. This is a Steven problem and lack of Vim foo. But I'm just curious to see how everybody else does it. Oh, I was looking up Flash NeoVim real quick. Flash NeoVim. Oh, it's made by the Folke guy. That guy's made everything. This dude's name comes up on like tons and tons of plugins. This dude right here. He's everywhere around NeoVim. It's crazy. Hey, what's up, Oblivion? Nice to see you. I'm a JetBrains fanboy. No help with them, but key bindings. No worries, man. JetBrains makes great products. Yeah, they're wonderful. Don't use NeoVim that much to go back to that. I still enjoy it. I mean, I've been on like an 18-month long side quest, and I really do enjoy it. Yeah, search. Yeah, that's what I do too. Search. I'm the same way. Let's see. Flash in Vim lets you navigate your code with search labels, enhanced character motions, and tree sitter navigation. Okay, so this looks a little interesting. Okay, what are the motions? See, after typing F char or F char, you can repeat the motion with F or go to the previous match with F. Typing T or T char, you can repeat the motion with T, go to the previous motion with T. Toggle search, toggles flash on or off while using regular search. Interesting. Yeah, I'll star that one. Oh, I already have it starred. Somebody must have already recommended it at some point. That's hilarious. I haven't actually done anything with it. That's funny. Okay. Here we go. So this will just keep it running, right? Hey, Sabrinex. For navigating back to previous location, look at a help backtick. I think someone's mentioned that. Backtick. To the position before the latest jump, or where the last M or M apostrophe command was given, not set when keep jumps command modifier was used. So I guess that just takes me back to the last jump. That's, I think, helpful for sure. Yeah, that's for sure helpful. Okay. So I think we can just take all of this within this while loop, and I think we can dump it into the other while loop. And then I think we can... I don't think we need to do this anymore because we're using raylib, so I think raylib takes care of the frame, right? That's my understanding. So now we're doing the timer decrements. I don't know how to play a sound yet. That's our draw. So we basically need to move where the drawing happens. Right? So we are drawing the sprite, but now we need to actually use raylib. So I guess let's just do begin drawing and then end drawing. And then we need to I guess we need to loop, right? We need to basically do the same thing we're doing up here in this method. So this would be just copy the loop. There we go. See, I use my backticks. It was so hard to wake up this morning. Okay. We still want to get the same screen pixel, but we need to figure out how to put that on the raylib thing. Same. It must be a Friday morning thing. I got too much shit on my desk. Yeah. Sleep lazy Saturday morning sounds good to me. I guess I'll just I need to call some sort of draw function in here. What? So how do I, let's see, raylib. Draw pixel or draw rectangle, maybe? Oh, let's go. Yeah, that's awesome. You got the writing done. I remember you were procrastinating on that. That's awesome. Okay, so what does draw rectangle accept? Draw rectangle raylib signature. That's kind of cool. They have an interactive. That's pretty cool. I guess I just want to draw something that's like 1 pixel by 1 pixel. Maybe one by, that's pretty small. There we go. That's what I was looking for. I was like, how do I get the freaking... So it takes position X, position Y, the width, the height, and the color. So let's just do draw rectangle. We got X, Y. Yeah, X, Y, and... Do we have X, Y here? I honestly don't know. I've been using Mac Pocock skills for writing, extremely helpful for fleshing out an idea, then letting it into something coherent. Nice. Yeah, Mac Pocock has completely gone all in on the AI. I knew him as the TypeScript wizard, and now he's the AI hero guy. My articles tend to be 3 minutes to read. I don't know. Looking at time spent per page, that should be half that length. Yeah, I don't know. I think a length of an article is just like not important, you know? Like in school, that was always such a pain in the ass, was like, it's got to be this many words or it's got to be this many pages. And I never really understood that. I always felt like writing should just be as long as it needs to be and no longer, right? And good writing is concise and omits needless words, right? So I feel like though the reason they do that is because if they didn't put a minimum length, then people would try to like write 3 sentences and call it done. I'm using Simple Analytics. That's what I've got on my blog. I like Simple Analytics. This assignment, what does STFG mean, Kale? It's 5 pages maximum. Oh man. Although I probably would have had fun writing 5 pages about image because I would have done a bunch of link my blog. Yeah, here you go. Blog. There you go. That's my blog. blog.stephenfreeborn.com. It's very original. It's a very original domain name. Yes, thank you. Yes, I work very hard. Nah, I wrote way too much. That's my issue. Oh, that's hilarious. I would have written a lot too. Yeah, I would have written a lot too because I find first the software fascinating, but I also find the company behind the software fascinating. Yeah, that would have been a fun research project. Okay, so we're gonna do black. So we're basically just resetting the canvas. We have screen width, screen height. So I guess draw a rectangle would take X, Y, screen width, screen height, screen height, and then I'm guessing there's like a ray white. If there's a ray lib colors, color palette. Do they have a white? Yeah, ray white. So we're gonna try to draw some black, some white on a black background. So let's just, we can get rid of this. I think we also need to call close window, right? So we close the window, we begin drawing, we clear our background, we draw a rectangle for each display pixel, then we end the drawing. And then we loop, we do the decrement, the timer stuff. Maybe this should be up above the draw. I don't honestly know where the timer stuff should go. Okay, let's see if it compiles. Does not compile. It does not compile. Rectangle declared as different kind of symbol. Previous declaration of rectangle with type when bool. Conflicting types for closed window. Previous what? What have I done? Previous declaration of show cursor. It's like maybe I'm importing too many things. I did see one issue I know how to fix. Let me show you. I know this is an issue that I know how to fix. Right? You can go up here. Look, watch this. I know how to fix this issue. Ready? Semi. I looked away. What did you do? I tried to compile it, man. I tried to compile the code and I blew everything up. So it looks like there's a bunch of Y's undeclared. Why is Y undeclared? It shouldn't be. It should be declared. Oh, it's inside the loop. Oh, this should be IJ. Or JI. Just kind of confusing. Yeah, I don't need frame time start anymore. So what are these? Do you have Windows? Yes, I do. I have Windows.h and I have raylib, both. Do I not need the? Can I remove one of them? Is that why I'm getting these redeclare? Are these what is it? What's the name? The error says previous declaration of closed window. That's basically all the errors, I think. Oh, conflicting types. Okay, I'm gonna not add those define flags. They conflict. Okay. So what are these flags doing, Kale? No GDI, no user. What are they doing? I mean, I know I can Google it, but if you know. Define no GDI. Instructs the C preprocessor to ignore the graphical device interface definitions when reading Windows.h, eliminating the rectangle collision. Instructs the user processor to ignore user 32 definitions, eliminating the closed window and show cursor collision. Interesting. So that's like a known bug or something. I mean, I guess it's not really a bug. It's just a conflict, I guess. Okay. Well, damn it. Did I not write that out? I thought I wrote that out. Huh. So for whatever reason, it's not having an effect. Well, what do I use Windows.h for? I honestly don't know what I use it for. Let's see what breaks if we remove it. I think at one point we were using it for terminal stuff. Okay, so I don't think I'm using it, but I don't think my I think I gotta update my compiler command, don't I? So we need to go to this guy. I don't know what the hell those flags mean, but they work. I have to do a little bit of reading. Oh. Well, that's really, really tiny. Look how tiny that is. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is so tiny. so, so I guess I need to, that was anticlimactic. Dude, I don't know how to have a good payoff moment for you guys. I'm sorry. we need to remove the draw from the, was it draw? Yeah, we need to remove this because we don't need that no more. I guess we need to change the, I guess we need to scale programming. It does. I guess we need to scale the display by some factor and make it larger. Yeah, I guess we just need to arbitrarily decide what we want that to be. Hey, what's up, Mark? Nice to see you. Good morning / eve. Yes, we are on opposite sides of the earth. It's just kind of wild to think about it. If you really stop and think about how wild that is. We kind of take it for granted now, but it actually is pretty crazy that a guy in America can talk to a guy all the way down under. Appreciate you holding it down on Twitch and YouTube for us, Mark. Appreciate you. I think other than Oblivion, you've been the... Oh, Dota. I guess we had Dota, we had Oblivion. We haven't had many Twitch chatters today. That's okay. The ones who are here are the ones who matter. See how easy that is? 1280 by 720. When I... Okay, let's try that. So we need to scale the screen. So let's do scale. So what would that be if I have a 64? We gotta do some math. We gotta do some math here. So if I have a 64 by 32, and I wanted to scale the width to, because I'll probably want to keep the ratio the same, right? So if it was 64, let's start with something easy. Let's do a factor of 100. That would be 640 by 3, or a factor of 10. Sorry, factor. What if we just do a factor of 10 to start with? Scale, int scale factor equals 10. So we'd apply that here. And we'd apply that here, right? And then we have to apply it to our coordinate system because it needs to have that offset, right? So we'd have to do x times scale and y times scale. So times scale. I'm actually going to change this to be display width and display height. Like this, display height. And then I'm going to come back up to the top. And I'm going to say int display width equals screen width times scale factor, and then int display height equals screen height times scale factor. And then I'll use those here. I feel like no, that's right. Okay. So now let's see what happens. Screen height. Screen width is undeclared. Oh. Display. I literally just typed those variables. Display height. It's early in the morning and I only have 1 cup of coffee. So for now I can blame caffeine. But in a little bit I cannot blame caffeine. Well, this is not at all correct. Fuck. 3 pieces of fried chicken. That sounds actually really, really good. It's not really a breakfast food here in the U.S., but maybe some chicken and waffles. That's a southern food I think you could pass as breakfast food. Okay. I don't know what I did. I mean, it doesn't look like anything, you know? Doesn't look like anything. It almost seems, so there's definitely something, I guess, off with maybe... I honestly don't know. Thanks for watching 5 consecutive streams, man. I hope you're enjoying your fried chicken. Is it also scaling the sprite size? I don't actually know. Do I need to do that? I don't know. Maybe I do need to scale it. I mean, I guess I do because the sprite is probably giving me its coordinates, right? According to the expected, which is 64 by 32. Would that make sense? I think. So does that mean we actually need to... I don't... Hmm. Hmm. I honestly don't know. I'm at a loss. I guess my thinking is that it doesn't really matter what the sprite... All I have to care about with the sprite is whether the pixel that I'm drawing is on or off. As long as I'm... Yeah, I don't think it should matter. Because it's just getting painted to the screen. I'm just rambling out loud, but I don't think it should matter. But there's obviously something. I'm obviously done something wrong, right? It's not... Huh. I'm stuck, man. You gotta scale the draw, you think? I don't know. I don't feel like that's necessary because I feel like all the draw does is it basically just manipulates the bytes in the display array, right? So it basically just where is it? Draw sprite, where is that? All it does is it basically just flips those from 0 to 1, right? Which is just when we loop over and on the screen, all we're doing is we're basically saying is that should the thing that we're drawing be on or off? I think, right? That's all we're. We have display width, we have display height. I guess let me double check my raylib documentation. We have width and height. Yes, we passed that in the right direction. We have X and Y. So in this case, J is our Y. Or I mean, sorry, J is our X. And I is our height. Or our Y, whatever you want to refer to it as. We're flattening the screen pixel. Or sorry, flattening the coordinates into a index for our 1D array. One-dimensional array. Nice emote, Mark. Oh! I don't know, man. I'm stuck. Oh, why didn't my text-to-speech work? Oh, crap. I don't have it open. Sorry. I'll re-queue that. I forgot. I forgot to open it. All right, give me one sec. We'll re-queue it. Text-to-speech is my favorite part of streaming, and it only happens a few times a stream, so... Ready? Here we go. We're gonna redo it. That didn't work either. What the hell? What the hell? Why is this not working?
This is a test message.
Why did? Oh, that was a random voice. I was like, why did that sound different?
This is a test message.
There we go. That's the normal voice. Why is it not working? Oh, it wasn't connected. Sorry. It's my hack together setup here locally. I've got all kinds of stuff talking to each other.
MRK_man and Salah is telling you to drink some coffee.
There we go. We can actually also change those alerts to use the 11 Labs voice because I have so many 11 Labs tokens. It's not even funny. I'm not going to be able to use them, I think, all before the end of the year. Let's see. I'm going to change those alerts. We're going to use speaker bot. Speaker. Sorry, I realized I got distracted. Bro, I cannot do things correctly this morning.
Mark Mananzala is telling you to drink some coffee.
Nice. That sounds so much better than the Microsoft APIs. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I had to lock in there. Where are those tokens from? They're from 11 Labs. Not until you want to hear the dog barking again. Dude, 11 Labs has some good voices, man. It's a good service. Let's see, scale. Draw rectangle J. Scale factor? Well, no, because I think display height and display, those are already being applied, right? So this should be 640 by 320. And I think that's working correctly because the window looks correct, right? Looks like it's the correct size. Or is it not? Here, let me measure it. Control Shift M. Or nope, that's not what I wanted. I thought Zoom It had a measurement tool. Yeah, screen ruler. Yeah, so that's right. 640 by 320. So that's good. I just don't really understand why the black is ending up where it's ending up at. That's the part I don't understand. I guess let's just, before we, like, you know, call it quits, let's just make sure we didn't actually break any of the code. So let's see if drawing to the terminal still works correctly. We have to pass in the chip. I'm not doing a good job navigating, am I? Chip. And chip. Okay, so that still works. So it's still working on the terminal. So the math, right, the display math or whatever that we're doing is still correct. It's somehow we're not translating that. Is it do I need to provide like some sort of Do I need to provide... It must be something about the raylib that I don't understand. The raylib. I sounded really redneck when I said that. There's something about the raylib I just don't get. The raylib's got me twisted up today. They do this. Draw text in drawing. This is our window. Maybe rectangle's not the right call. Maybe draw rectangle's not the right thing. Checking if it's equal to 1, then we're painting it on the screen. We end the drawing, we close the window, we return completed successfully. Yeah, it's gotta be something raylib related. But I'm not really sure how to start debugging it. All right, to the Googles. To the Google machine. Also, let's set some water on to brew real quick. Be right back. Be right back. Also, do some exercise. Get up, move. All right, I'm back. Okay. Right. I see a good stream. This is a C good stream. Although, don't watch me actually write C, because my C is probably horrible. Raylib draw 640 by 20 with I don't know, let's just draw with rectangle. See if we can do that. Dude, this is the kind of programming that scares people from ever trying to program. It's the stuff of nightmares. Is better than mine? I don't know if it's better than yours, man. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. We also need to make this dark mode because this is burning my eyes. It's probably burning yours too. There we go. Much better. Much better. Yeah, flashbang. All these older documentation sites, it's just like you open them up, whack, 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 whack. Good times, good times. Good times. Okay, where do we want to go next? Try to avoid LLMing this. What's the simplest, I guess, if we can't draw what we want to draw, what's the simplest thing we can draw? You know? Kale said draw rec. Oh, I didn't see Kale's comment. Okay, let's try what Kale said. So you're saying I should pass the scale factor and not the so am I just not, did I not understand the documentation correctly? Oh, I see. So this is not the width, this is not the width, this is the width of the thing we're drawing. I'm an idiot. This is, so this should be, that's why. So I was literally saying draw me a black rectangle. I was basically saying draw me a bunch of black rectangles, right? That were all I'm an idiot. That's you went back to the dude, you which makes so much more sense. Why would you want to, if you call and draw a rectangle, why the fuck do you care about what the, you know what I mean? You already have the position. Why do you care about what the size of the display is? Oh, let's go. Fuck yeah. Kale strikes again. Booyah. Let's go. That was a good payoff. That was a good payoff. That was worth it. That was worth the struggle. I wish I would have read your comment though. That really, I'm an idiot. That was like 10 minutes ago now, too. All right. So we know how to put things in Raylib on the screen. Now we can go back to doing the to-dos. Little bit of dopamine. This is one of the reasons why I love to-do lists. Is you get a little bit of dopamine every time you get to check something off. Okay, implement the remaining instructions. So we need to see which instructions we have done versus which we haven't. So this would be 0, 0, E0. The fact that I'm having to put this in a comment probably means that I should have just went with hexadecimal numbers instead of decimal. But you live and learn, you know? You live and learn. You live and learn. 7xk. Okay. ANNN. BNNN. So let's go back to our specification, which I seem to have misplaced. And I guess we'll just start working through these. So we have this one done. We have clear done. Return from a subroutine. So that is... the interpreter sets the program counter to the address at the top of the stack, then subtracts 1 from the stack pointer. So this, I'm actually going to need an else if statement here. Or is it elif in C? What is it? Else if. Yeah, else if. Else if opcode equals whatever that is in hex, which is 0EE. So this would be 238. So if opcode equals 238, then we want to do this instruction set. So this instruction set is return from a subroutine. So I don't think I have this. I don't think I have everything defined that I need for this one. So I have to say chip PC, which is our program counter. We need to set that to the address that's at the top of the stack, then subtract 1 from the stack pointer. So this would be, I guess, chip stack at the top, right? Would that be the top? Guess depends on how we treat the stack, right? But let's assume we're always... what's the top? So if we're having an array and we're pushing, if we're pushing and popping, that means the bottom is the top, right? I don't know, I get so confused when we start talking about stacks and queues and when we're using arrays to push and pop. I do know I don't have that defined. I also know I need a chip stack pointer, which is going to be incremented by 1. No, decremented by 1. Okay, so this actually needs to come off the end, not the beginning. So this would be 15 because this is going to be a fixed size stack. I think it's 16. See, like right now, this is where, so I know I'm switching gears here a lot of context switching, but this is right here is where I'm thinking, how do I efficiently get to the CHIP-8 definition and back? So I think what I would do if I was doing what I know how to do is I would do CHIP-8 like that. Then I would define the stack. So I say uint 8 of t. This is our stack of 16. And then we have a u int 16 of t, which is our stack counter. And then I would do Control O to go back to where I was. Control O. I think that's the most efficient way right now that I can do stuff at the moment. It's not perfect, but it's, I think, the best I have at the moment. Also, I think I flipped these. This should be 8. This should be 16. Let me double check. CHIP-8 has 16 general purpose 8-bit registers. There's also a 16-bit register called I. CHIP-8 has, let's see, the program counter should be 16 bits and is used to store the currently executing address. The stack pointer can be 8-bit. It is used to point to the topmost level of the stack. The stack is an array of 16 16-bit values. Yep. Yeah, I did have those backwards. So the stack array itself is 16 bits, 16-bit values, and then the pointer is 8 bits. So how do I get the... I'm doing it again, aren't I? Gosh dang, dude. How do I get... I don't need to get the size. I can just know, hey, this is always got 16 things, so at the very end, 15. This is, I mean, this right here, I think is a good example of why, like, that seems very error prone to have to do that, you know, to basically keep track of this incrementing and decrementing at the same time as moving things around or moving things. There's probably a way to abstract that and make that less error prone. Okay, we done that. That's that instruction. So let's actually make a table. So let's just go ahead and we'll just add one at a time. This is going to be, yeah, we just did that. And this, what's the name of this thing? The name of this thing is return. Return from subroutine. Dude, markdown tables are such a pain in the ass to make and edit. That's one thing AI has definitely made easier in life. All right, jump address. We've implemented call adder. That we have not implemented. So let's go ahead and implement that. Call subroutine at in. So we need to, the interpreter increments the stack pointer. Okay. Don't know what this is. Should be that. If you're watching me code right now and you're thinking, Steven, why are you using decimal numbers when you could just use hex? Don't ask me, because at the beginning I thought it would make more sense to me, because normally I think about things in decimal numbers. but now I'm realizing that was a bad choice, so I'll eventually probably refactor it. What are you gonna do? Hey, what's up, Gun Highs? Yes, Steven, what the fuck? Okay. So stack pointer. The interpreter increments the stack pointer. Chip stack pointer. Then puts the current PC on the top of the stack. The PC is then set to in. So that would be chip PC equals in. Now how to add, what do we want to add? PC chip PC to stack. So with stack is an array, so chip stack is an array. To the top of it, right? So the top, we're saying the top is 15, the 15th spot. So I think we can just do that. We can say chip PC. So we're taking the current address of the program counter, we're putting it at the top of the stack, and then we're setting the PC to the address that we just got from the instruction set. I think. Use do better, use octal only. I know. I need to be better. Dude, you should have seen, I made a video about why I think people should read the code, and you should see some of the comments on there, man. Dude, some people feel some type of way about me when it comes to basically that's what the comments boil down to, is do better. That's wild. Oh shit, I forgot about my water. We were in the process of making coffee. See, this is the problem. I get distracted. Sorry, I meant that as a joke. No, I totally got your joke. It just when you said it, it made me think of those. It made me think of those comments. Yeah. No, man, I never take anything you guys say as, I mean, unless you just like outright say like "fuck you, Steven," and then even then I'll probably just be like "fuck you too," you know. Like I've got very thick skin. I've got very thick skin, and I grew up with a brother, so there's probably not much people can say or do to me that hasn't already been said or done. Sorry that my comment make you feel places. You mean you're sorry that your comment made me have a flashback to reading I was so traumatized by the comments. I had a flashback. Okay, I have to go start the water again because I forgot about it. This time I'm actually going to make the coffee too. You like that, Sam? Yeah, I'm a real YouTuber now. Look at me. I have a coffee camera and I write C. So I'm finally a real developer and I'm finally a real YouTuber. I finally reached my actual goals in life. I forgot the coffee cup, which is the most important part of making coffee. True coffee master. Pure engineering precision. It was perfect. It was perfect. You also got yourself one? Good. Yeah, reload on the coffee, man. Can always do some more coffee. I'm a tea drinker. Hey, there's nothing wrong with tea, man. It's not really my favorite thing, but I just want you guys to, I just want y'all to be happy, you know? It's just, whatever makes you happy. It was perfect. Perfect. Perfection. Okay, I think we did this. That's calling. It's calling our function. Now we need to implement for. Skip next instruction if vx equals kk. That seems like it's the same instruction. Doesn't it? Oh, not equal. Okay, so this is... I was like, that's the same damn thing. No, it's not. This is 4xkk. Oh, God. That's my little shortcut that I keep forgetting about. This is going to be called skip next instruction. Skip next if vx does not equal kk. Okay. So we basically just need to do the same thing we're doing here. We just have to invert it. It's crunch time, Steven, 2 hours ago. Yeah, I literally, I actually have about an hour, probably an hour. I really need to, I really should be off of the stream by probably 8 or 8:15. When my kids go back to school, I'll probably stop at 7:15 again, because I like to be able to be around my kids for a little bit of time in the morning before they see them off to school. But since it's the summertime, I can just stream a little later. Steve's bot takes the lead while I do work in the background. Steve's bot, yeah. So here's the story about Steve bot. I've been kind of bitching about the fact that the line counter functionality of the timers is broken, but apparently, and I don't. This seems weird to me. I don't know. You guys tell me if it seems weird that they can't figure this out. But apparently, when you set up a timer in StreamerBot, you have to go here to services and you go to timers, and you can configure a timer to run at some interval, right? Or you can configure it to go by line, or both, right? But this is super weird limitation. I think it's a super weird limitation. If you have both if you have both Twitch and YouTube chat combined, the line functionality stops working. Which seems like such a weird thing. We're just counting lines. Like, we're just counting messages. Why would having combined chat break that? I don't know. That seems like one they should be able to fix, right? I mean, StreamerBot's a great piece of software. It's the first time I've ever really encountered something in it where I thought, this seems a little weird. Let me try putting a little bit of randomness in there. These probably should be non-overlapping. So do like 1500. Anyways, if you're ever thinking about streaming yourself, you should definitely look into StreamerBot. It's a great piece of software. It's written in .NET, and it's free. All I have crunchy is my knees. That's probably because some time ago I took an arrow to the knee. Are you dead serious? You really got shot in the knee with an arrow? I think you should tell that story. I think you should take as many messages as needed in YouTube chat to share that story with us, because that's a wild one. I'm always dead of serious, of course. If you're being dead serious, yeah, you got to tell that story. Okay, we did that one. Now we're just marking things off the list. Okay, so that's 4xk. So now we need to do 5. What's 5? 5 is skip instruction if Vx equals Vy. Skip if Vx equals Vy. We have not done that yet. Should not lie to ourselves. So, what is 5,000? Dude, I feel like you're holding out on us by not sharing the shot in the arrow leg story. Oh, here we go. Man, back in late 2011, I completely lost my mind over this new game. It was freezing outside, but I was glued to my TV for days, totally sucked into this massive, beautiful world. I was playing this stealth build, totally elite, just sneaking through forests, exploring old ruins. I felt incredibly invincible, but then I got cocky. Is this a video game? I thought you were talking about in real life, bro. By 2. Before I could even react, this crazy pain flared up. I looked down, dude, there was an arrow sticking straight out of my leg. It's an Elder Scrolls meme. I managed to finish the fight, but I was absolutely crippled. I had to limp all the way back to the nearest town, completely defeated. I couldn't sprint or sneak. I used to be an adventurer like you, then I took an arrow in the knee. I don't remember this. I was a big Skyrim player. My son just started playing it yesterday. Yeah, Skyrim was good times, man. Good times. It also was a good time just personally in my life too. So it's like, it kind of compounds the nostalgia where it's like, when I think back to when I got Skyrim, I think I got it on Christmas, and just like that time in my life, I just graduated high school, or was getting ready to graduate high school. It was like, everything was good, man. Everything was great. Let's see, this is 5, XY 0. So we've done 6, we've done 7. All right, now I think this is the meaty one. We got to do 8. 8 has a lot of steps in here. So let's try not to break it. We did that. Try to take them one at a time. You're going to love it, Steven. Anyway, I found so freaking great .NET library. You're going to love it. What is it called? I don't know if you see a link I've sent, but it's on GitHub SciSharp. So I have not. So for whatever reason, YouTube does not allow links in their chat. Which I guess I kind of understand why maybe you would do that, but the fact that Twitch allows it, or at least makes it configurable, seems like that should be a thing. Okay, SciSharp. It's a subsidiary of Games. C link. Okay. Zero allocation link with link to span, link to SIMD, and link to tree for all .NET platforms and Unity. Ooh, I bet the game devs love this. Let's see. Unlike regular link, C-link doesn't increase allocations. Excuse me. When adding more method chains. It also has higher basic performance. You can check various benchmark patterns at GitHub Actions benchmark. C-link shows high performance in almost all patterns, with some benchmarks showing overwhelming differences. As a bonus, link operators and optimizations are equivalent to .NET 10, can be used in .NET Framework 4.8 and Unity. Oh, well, that's a big one right there. Those people on the legacy side, you know, they don't always get the Interesting. So how do they achieve it? Okay, here's how they achieve it. In my big data projects, damn, it's so helpful. Love it because I'm legacy boy. Yeah, exactly. I mean, for those of us on the legacy side, like, you know, a lot of the perf benefits. I mean, I know a lot of the perf benefits have some crossover, right? But yeah, for people stuck on the framework side of the equation. So what do they do? Okay, Z-Link achieves zero allocation link implementation using the following structs and interfaces. Let's see. Besides changing to a struct-based approach, we've integrated move next and current to reduce the number of iterator calls. Also, some operators don't need to hold current, which allows minimizing the struct size. Additionally, being struct-based, we efficiently separate internal state by copying the enumerator instead of using get enumerator. With C#9 or with .NET 9, C#13 or later, allows ref struct enables natural integration of span T into link. Interesting. I haven't used span much, so I've seen a couple videos by Nick Chopsis about span, but I haven't actually had reason to use it in my own code much. Operators have this method signature. C# cannot infer types from generic constraints. Therefore, the traditional struct link approach required implementing all operator combinations as instance methods, resulting in 100,000 plus methods and massive assembly sizes. However, in Z-Link, we've successfully avoided all the boilerplate method implementations by devising an approach that properly conveys types to C# compiler. Interesting. So is this relatively new, Gunhighs? Because if this seems like something that .NET itself would be interested in exploring adopting. If they've really found something, unless there's a reason why it has to live outside of the SDK. This is March 14th. Huh, I'm surprised this hasn't gotten more. Yeah, it is. I'm surprised. It's over a year since it was published, so I'm surprised it hasn't gotten more attention, or at least it hasn't shown up in my feed, you know, in my zeitgeist. Man, 100,000 plus methods. That's crazy. Huh. Okay. I'm going to add this to my stars. I never really deal with like crazy I guess crazy amounts of large data, you know, where I've ever actually had to be concerned with the amount of allocations that were going on inside link calls, inside hot pass and stuff, but I can definitely see it being useful for games. Thank you for the recommendation. You're the man. Okay, getting back to our exhilarating topic of the morning. Implementing instructions. Stores the value of register VY and register VX. So we need to implement this guy. Stores VY and VX. Okay. Now this is going to be 1. Sorry, 1. And this does what? Stores sets VX. So this does performs bitwise or on V. I wonder if Markdown will interpret that as a... Yeah, I probably should need to escape it or something. Markdown tables are such a pain. I think I've already said that, but I feel like it needs to be said several more times. And this is going to perform a bitwise and. All right, let's go ahead and implement those. We can do this. Let's see. We'll go right cha. So we'll be looking for 8. Yo, how's your emulator going? It's going good. Yeah, actually, I don't know if what I've added is going to cause it to fail. I don't think it will because it shouldn't be in the instruction set for the test project. But yeah, we have it rendering in this was our big accomplishment today, was rendering in I meant stack pointer. I meant stack pointer. What was the other issue? I missed the semi. What was it? Case 8192. Case 8192. Sorry, I was going to show you what we've accomplished. It's going well though. We have it rendering in Raylib. We can render an image of the IBM logo. So we've actually implemented our first program, or I guess ran our first program, interpreted our first program, whatever you want to call it. ST. So this should be stack pointer. Oh, hold on. I don't think I meant to do that. Hold on. Go back. I think I just touched something I shouldn't have touched. That's our stop timer. That's our stop timer. So that's, I don't want to actually change that. I want to change stat counter. So wherever I have SP, I want stat counter. Sorry. Sorry, man. This is this is going to be so anticlimactic. I should have been working in a, I should work in a different work tree so I can demo this too when people ask about it. Okay. Now let's try. You wrote 70,000 lines. Damn, what's that below your IDE? I didn't write 70,000. Did I write 70,000 lines? I didn't write 70,000 lines. And what do you mean below my IDE? The Lua line? Is that what we're talking about? The Lua line integration, this thing? Right here. Hey, what's up, Codius? Having fun in C? I see. Yes, I'm doing well, and we are having fun in C. I was actually just getting to try to demo my progress here. See if I can do it. There we go. So this is the progress I've made. So we have a window. We're actually processing a program, and we're rendering it onto the screen with Raylib. So now the next thing to do is we have to finish implementing all the different instructions, where we only have, I think, 6 of the 16 implemented, or 6 of, how many instructions are there? 36. So we only have like 6 or 7 of the 36. So we've got to finish implementing all the instructions. Then we need to handle keyboard inputs, and then we should be able to play some games with this emulator. So that will be the most fun part of the stream, I think, is when we get to play some games with it. Wow, why IBM? LO, put your name. Because IBM, the IBM logo is just a classic kind of test file. Because for your emulator to work, the thing you have has to be authored, obviously, in the instruction set that the emulator expects. So there's a handful of like existing CHIP-8 programs out there that are very common for people to use for testing and for instance type of things. So you'd have to, if you wanted to display your own name, you'd have to write your own CHIP-8 binary file, which seems tedious and painful. I already find the C a little tedious and painful. I'd have to go back to writing like actual like machine-like code. It's just kind of a quick way to check and see, are you on the right path, you know? Excuse me, as you're working through things. So now we need to do, copy that. So the first thing we do is we have to check, are we in this particular opcode? We want to break here. And then what we have to do is we're going to add a switch statement that says opcode equals, I think we want to check for opcode equaling exactly 800, right? Sorry, 8,000. So we want to check exactly for and then we're also going to have an else check for else if opcode equals 801, I think. Or that's the hexadecimal representation, which would be 32769. 32769. And then there's going to be a bunch of else is here. So this is going to 32770. Those are the ones we're going to worry about right now. Good morning, Justin. Good to see you. How are you doing? Hope your day's getting off to a good start. Did you hit the gym this morning? We might want another another switch. There's probably a better way to write this code. That's for sure. Very nice. Keep going. Once you learn C, coding is so much easier. I'm learned C plus 14 and it's not fun. So I don't know how much more C I'll write in my life. I think this will be a really good side quest and adventure. I don't know how long I'll actually stay down here. Most of my interests don't lie in systems programming, you know? I guess outside of like trying to build a video game or something, I'm not sure what else I would ever need or want to do that would be. I think it's a good exercise probably for like your own development, obviously, but beyond that, you know, most of the things I want to build, I could either build in C# or types, you know what I mean? But for people that want to be kind of low level, right, want to do systems level stuff, makes total sense. Okay, what do I need to do? Store the value of register Y in register X. So this would literally be chip V. Nice. I'm glad you got it in, Jess. Hell yeah, man. If you don't have your health, you don't really have much, you know? So that's awesome. V, Y. That. Now we come down here and we say performs bitwise or Vx and Y. Performs a bitwise OR of the values Vx and Y, then stores the result in Vx. So we can do this, do that, and then we'll do chip. This. Then we have to do the same thing. I think we do AND here. Performs a bitwise AND on the values of Vx and Vy, then stores the result in Vx. Okay. I think this just keeps incrementing up. And now we have to do the next one. There's several of these. There is eight sub instructions. So we're on 3. So performs a bitwise exclusive OR. So we XOR. We do XOR. This. Right? That's how you XOR. Yes. The values in X and Y are added together. If the result is greater than 8 bits, VF is set to 1. Otherwise, 0. Only the lowest 8 bits of the result are kept and stored in VX. Well... Okay, we got to add them together. So I guess let's do int results. So I guess this should probably be an unsigned int 16 because we're adding to. So let's do result equals chip v at x plus chip v at y. And then we have to determine if r is greater than otherwise, only the lowest 8 bits of the result are kept. Add with carry. Don't like that song. That was getting on my nerves. Oh, okay. Now I under. We have to. We're not setting x, or we are setting x, but we're also. I was like, what are we supposed to do with the total? The total goes here, so we say chip v at 15. I tell you what, half the work is just deciphering what the specification says. Okay, so set carry. So set VF equals carry. So this is going to be equal to does C have ternaries? I think C has ternary. So if R is greater than 255, 1, otherwise 0. Question mark. Half the work is, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is you want us to do what? I feel like at work half of me is repeating back. It's me reading the spec and then saying that's dumb as hell. Then it's repeating back what my understanding is so that they can hear how dumb it is and to make sure that they understand what they're asking for. It's dumb. It's like, are you sure this is what you're wanting? I love low-level bare metal coding. You can manipulate the hardware to bypass the bottlenecks from the bus and clock screwing the CPU and RAM to run asymmetrically through memory management. Wow, that's some... I mean, half those words in that sentence, I can read them. I can understand what the English means. How that translates into programming or coding, I have no idea. But I love that you love that. when you have time, you could check out my work. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm happy to take a peek. 8 user stories. Sometimes I read user stories and I think, do you even know who our user is? Do you even know who your user is, man? Oh, you built a compiler? That's pretty cool. Computational compiler, huh? I don't even understand half of the words in this thing. Astrobotanical coupling? Why is there a PDF in this GitHub? That seems sus, man. Not gonna lie. Seems sus. I decode the Voynich manuscripts. Thank you, huh? Yeah, I'm definitely not clicking on no PDF. But, fair enough. It's not. You seem like I mean, you're a stranger on the internet with a faceless profile picture. You're the exact type of person I tell my kids not to trust on the internet. It's fine. No, I'm not clicking on no PDF. Sorry, man. I think if you want people to look at your work, you need to present it in a different way than that. I would love to look at it, but I'm not going to take the risk on my computer. May I ask a favor? I can't click on the GitHub link just sent by Codius. I don't know why you can't do that in YouTube. It must be a YouTube thing. Also, YouTube normally strips links, so I don't know how you got that link in there. So that's pretty impressive. I don't want to give out my code. Well, you don't have to give out your code. Just present it in a way that doesn't force someone to try to initiate to either download or open a PDF. Just present it in the README. Do your write-up in the README. Mark almost got me. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you got that link into the YouTube comments. That's actually maybe even more sus than the PDF in the GitHub. Usually YouTube strips those out. Bare metal work, bub. Fair enough, fair enough. Well, if you're that competent of a programmer, then I probably don't want to click on a PDF in your GitHub even more. I mean, I'm not trying to say you're actually a malicious person. I'm trying to practice good internet hygiene, you know? What do they call that? I'm trying to practice good good tradecraft. Nah, it's cool. You're right. I'm anal. So no, I mean, I just think either present the content that's in the PDF on a website or on a README, or maybe something that doesn't require a downloadable file that is known to be a vector for malicious content. If he can do that, what else can Codius do? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You have a Discord? I do have a Discord, yep. If you type !Discord in the chat, that's the link to the invite. Okay, what was I doing? Oh, I didn't finish doing this. So what we need to do is we only want to take the last 8 bits on the carry. So only the lowest 8 bits of the result are kept and stored in VX. So we need to do this. V at X is going to be equal to result masked by the value What do we want to mask by? 255? So... I think it's this. I think. Man, this stream provider was able to put ads in a live. I hate it. I'm sorry, man. I appreciate you watching the ads though. YouTube pays me a little bit of money for people that watch my ads, I think. I think I did that right. Now we need to do the subtraction, which is basically the inverse. So our opcode equals 32773. We have to do the same thing, only now we're subbing. If Vx is greater than Vy, then Vf is set to 1, otherwise 0. Then Vy is subtracted from Vx, and the result is stored in Vx. Okay. So now this is subtraction. And this becomes chip Vx. Then this gets set based on not this, but whether chip Vx is greater than chip Vy. Okay. Looks good. Hey, what's up, Noku? C is so fun. I don't know about fun. It's been a little painful of a learning curve for me, but I'm slowly making my way through it. I don't even think I've done anything crazy complex either, you know? I think I have one allocation so far in my program. One I guess I should say one malloc call in my program. So I think there's definitely a ways to go before I really start trying to shoot myself in the foot. Okay. Now we're going to go here. Once you get the hang of it, it's cool. Nice. I don't know how much more of it I'll write, but I guess I'm thankful for the time I took to do what I've done so far. If the least significant bit of Vx is 1, then Vf is set to 1, otherwise 0. Then Vx is divided by 2. So if the least significant bit of Vx is 1, the least significant bit, and we're dealing with 8 bits. Mr. Freeborn, you need to make a dynamic array. It's a rite of passage. Okay. We can add that to the list. I don't know if I do it on stream. Aren't the opcodes a bunch of magic numbers? Yeah, basically, I need to go back and... what I'm doing is I'm converting hex to decimal, which is why it basically looks like a bunch of magic numbers. What I want to do is I want to go back and I want to refactor this so that I can use some sort of enum and replace all these magic numbers with an enum. I mean, I know under the hood we'll still be talking about a number, but at least in the code it won't read like a bunch of magic numbers. I just haven't done that yet. So I have to take, I have to get the last bit, right? I have to check the last bit. So I need uint 8t. I'll call this flag, like, because it's on or off, and then we'll say CPU v at x, and then we'll mask it by 1. I think is what we want to do there. Yeah, I think that's what we want to do. Okay, yeah, that's the usual approach. Did the same with my VMs opcodes. Okay, that's good to know. That's probably what I'll go back and I'll try to do that. I just haven't had a chance. Okay, then we need to shift some stuff. So then we have to do then Vx is divided by 2. So, oh, sorry, not CPU. This is my chip. So chip at v of x is going to be something something, and VF is set to 1, otherwise 0, which I think means that VF can just be set to flag. So chip at V15, whoops, equals flag. Let's see. Oh my goodness, it's already 7:50. I feel like I have not made good progress this morning. These instructions are taking me way too long to implement. I keep having to read the spec like 10 times over. The least significant, then VF is set to 1, otherwise 0. Then VX is divided by 2. VX is divided by 2. Can you do a reassign divide? Can you do that in C? C, divide, reassignment. Steven, read the spec before bed. That way your brain ruminates on it all night. That's a smart idea, actually. Yeah, I think that's correct. Based on I've read that instruction 10 times now. If the least significant bit of VX is 1, then VF is set to 1. Otherwise 0. Then VX is divided by 2. Let's move this up. There. So else if opcode equals 32. 5. Is that desirable? It's not desirable. It's not necessarily desirable, right? But if you wanted to actually give yourself maybe a little bit of an edge, it's not desirable bedtime reading to sit down and read a specification, that's for sure. Or I don't know, maybe there's some person that's what they enjoy doing in their free time. If Vy is greater than Vx, then Vf is set to 1, otherwise 0. Then Vx is subtracted from y, and the result stored in Vx. So what's different between... Oh, it's just basically a... It's basically an inversion of this opcode. So this one's basically if Vy is greater than X, we set Vf set to 1, otherwise 0. Then we subtract we subtract X from Y, and the results are stored in Vx. Nice. All right, let's update our little thing over here to make sure we're keeping track. Well, no, but nothing hard is desirable when you start it. That's true. Doing hard things is worth it. I think that's one of the things I'm most allergic to about AI usage, right? That's one of most of my life is predicated on being able to do hard things, and I feel like AI makes it harder to do hard things because you have this constant itch in the back of your mind that says, just AI could do this, just use AI, you know? This would be... We've done all the way up to 7. Yeah, 7. That's the biggest opcode, I think. That one single opcode had like or that top level, that 8th opcode had 8 nested. Okay. So now we'll do else if opcode equals 32776, then chip. So this is saying if the most significant bit of Vx is V1, then Vf is set to 1, otherwise 0. Then Vx is multiplied by 2. So I think that's actually the inverse of what we're doing up here. Same idea. We're getting the most significant, or no, we're getting the least, or this is the least significant. So now we want the most significant, right? So this is going to be a right shift 8. We're going to right shift this, or no, 7. Sorry, 7. And we also need to mask it. But we have to do that before we shift it. I don't know what we're going to mask it by, though. I think by 8, 80 hex. What is 80 in hex? That's 128. Okay. And then instead of multiplication, we're going to multiply it. So, yeah, multiplication. This else if statement with opcodes remind me of my previous work when creating disassemblers and simulators in C. That sounds very hard and very complex. You can use Control plus 8 or Control X to increment or hold on, what? How do I not know this? Oh, how do I not know that? Bruh. Nikhil, you're teaching me all kinds of good stuff. Dude, there used to be this guy that would hang out in my chat named Butterscotch. That was his username. And he used to give me all the good Vim tips like this. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Line 272 uses result, but you declared R. Mask the last nibble on those opcodes instead of exact decimal, or it breaks. On... Where is it? R. Yes, you're right there. And then you're saying the opcode, I need to mask these before I check. Is what you're saying? Nikhil, I'm basically him. Also, you are prepend it with the amount you want to add /sub. Oh, that's cool. So you can say, oh, which that makes sense, right? Because you can repeat an action in NeoVim as many times as you want. That's cool. That's super, super cool. Man, there's all these little things I need to spend more time reading NeoVim documentation, don't I? Yes. So what you're saying is I need to actually get the last bit itself and not just look for that exact number, is what you're saying. Which I can do because I already actually have the last bit. So this actually already exists. If I go up here, you'll see I'm already grabbing that from the opcode. So we should be able to say in, if n equals 0, you can basically replace all these. N equals 1. Maybe this should be another switch statement. I don't know. I really hate nested switch statements. But I think maybe here it would look better than this if else. Thanks for pointing this out. Oh, forgot how to. N equals 8. There we go. Maybe switch. All right, I think we did that. Let me reread that last instruction. If the most significant bit of VX is 1, then VF is set to 1. Otherwise to 0. Yeah, so we mask by 128. Then we shift that one to the right 7. That gives us either that gives us either 1 or 0. Flag to VX is multiplied by 2. Yeah, that's correct. So we've done all of these. ANNN. We've done that one. We did that up here on this go around. Now we need to do BNNN. No, we did that one too. CXKK. The interpreter generates a random number from 0 to 255, which is then ANDed with the value KK. The results are stored in VX. See instruction 8XY2 for more information on AND. Okay. Okay. So how do you generate a random number in say C? Okay, we got to generate uint8t num, or I'm gonna do num equals something random. I know that doesn't exist. And then we need to then AND with the value KK. So we say chip at EX equals num, excuse me, ANDed by KK, or KK. KK is ANDed to num. Use rand %256 to get a random byte. So where does rand come from? Is that just all omnipresent function or something? Rand in C. The rand function in C is used to generate pseudo-random numbers. It is used in C to generate random numbers in the range 0 to rand max. The rand function is part of the standard C library. Okay, so we can do, like you said, rand, and then we'll mod it by 256, so we stay within our range. Then we AND that to KK and set that to that register. So that's that instruction. Cool. We're slowly making progress. Slowly but surely. That's CXKK. How many do I have implemented? 1. I guess maybe it's easier to count over here. I have to do 36 is the total. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have 14 there. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So you have 14 more to go. Damn, man. There's a lot. Can't you do a trick to make it point to a random address? I think that has a random value. I don't know. That would be a Codius question. It sounds like Codius is the low-level C guy. I think I have standard lib, but let me look. Good idea to double check. Yes, I do have standard lib imported at the top, so that's good. So now we're coming down here. We've got case EX9E. EX E09. Ooh, we got the macros. What? What are macros? Also, hello, James. Can read an uninitialized pointer to get a garbage value, but it is undefined behavior and usually just causes a seg fault that crashes the whole program. Wonderful. Wonderful. Sounds like that is not a good way to get a random number. Skip the next instruction if key with the value of VX is pressed. Oh, we don't have keyboard input. So we don't have a way to handle input yet, but we have to store in this instruction, we have to store whatever the input was, which we don't have. So that's not helpful. Yeah, I guess we have to figure out how to do how to handle inputs then to move forward. Or at the very least, we need to model how we're gonna store key inputs, which we do not have currently. All right, so implement remaining instructions. You're gonna have to go below key inputs. That. If you type define random 5 at the top, the compiler will secretly swap the word random for the number 5 everywhere in your code before it actually runs it. James, hashtag define. I think that's a macro, but like I said before, it goes in one ear and out the other. No, I think you're right. Yeah. Right? Okay, what does the spec say? What does the spec say about keypad input? I know it gives us a layout. The computers, which originally used the CHIP-8 language, had a 16-key hexadecimal keypad with the following layout. This layout must be mapped into various other configurations to fit the keyboards on today's platform. So I think what I'll end up doing is I need, oh, sorry. My wife just texted me. So I think what I'll end up doing is I'll map this to what? Probably 1, 2, 3, 4 QWER. I think I'll just map it to the left side of the keyboard, maybe. Probably is the easiest There's not really a good way to align on a QWERTY keyboard, is there? 16 keys. So yeah, I think I'll just go like up the left side of the keyboard, starting at the 1, 2, 3, 4, and moving down and to the right. So that would be, what would that be? Be something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, Q, W, E, R, A, S, D, F, Z, X, C, V. I guess something like that for my inputs. I honestly don't know what to do on this, but yeah, I don't really know of another way you would do it. You can search about what a preprocessor is in C. You will understand it better. For sure, I can do that. I've got multiple things I have to read about. I need to read about the interplay between raylib and windows.h. All right, I think I've run out of time today. Have to do work stuff. I have no strong game dev opinions because I have never built a game. James, this is sick. I don't know if this is sick, but we did make some progress. We do have, for those who maybe weren't here earlier when I showed it, we do have our program. I hope this isn't broken. It is broken, of course. We can do some partial programs, and we are rendering them in C, or in raylib. So we have this working. Now we're going to turn this into an actual interactive experience where it responds to our keyboard input, and then hopefully we can play some games with it. I think we're towards the home stretch. I think my homework tonight is I will figure out what the remaining instructions are that we need to implement, and then I'll do a little bit of research on how we are supposed to do the keyboard, how other people map the keys to the specs keyboards stuff, because I'm guessing other people have decided how to fit it to QWERTY keyboards. Yeah, that'll be good. Just map it to the left side of your keyboard. Yep, that sounds good. Yep, I think that sounds like a good approach. See you, Aeronaut. All right, guys. That's going to do it for me. I hope you guys had fun hanging out. I hope maybe you got some work done yourself and maybe drank some coffee and enjoyed the chit chat. I'm just going to plan on keep working on this, so I'll be back tomorrow morning to hopefully make some more progress. Maybe tomorrow we'll actually get some keys being registered as input, and maybe we'll try to test our implementation against one of the games that's out there. I think there's also a CHIP-8 test file that you can use to validate whether your thing does all the things it's supposed to do. So I'll try to look that up. I can see if I can find it. Oh yeah, right here. CHIP-8 test ROM. A ROM for testing CHIP-8 emulator. But that's not a full instruction set, is it? That's a partial. I don't know. I'll see what I can find. All right, see you, Codius. Bye, James. All right, see you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye. Have a good Friday. Hope everyone's looking forward to a nice weekend. See you guys.